Okay. February, March 2023, paper 3, variant 2. Yeah. Question 1. The width of one strip is 56 millimeters. There are 40 staples in the strip. Calculate the average width of one staple. How can I find the average width of one staple? طبعا. Okay, قول لي.
56 divided 40.
Okay, so average width divided by the number of staples, 56 divided by 40. صح. 56 divided by 40 is, I guess, 1 point something. 56 divided by 40 is 1.4 millimeters. Okay, حلو. يبقى quite easy. 1.4 millimeters. Question 2. I have strips of staples. Okay, I have a measuring cylinder. I have some water. Okay. Describe how the student can determine the volume of one strip of staples. Okay, how can I find the volume of one strip of staples by using the equipment above? That's quite easy. Now we know how to find the volume. Yes, tell me.
Yes, he's gonna measure the volume 1 وبعدين after he places the strips into the water and measure volume 2 وبعدين هيعمل volume 2 minus volume 1.
Okay, يبقى طبعا add some water to the measuring cylinder initially. Okay, يلا. Okay, يلا. Add some water to the measuring cylinder. Again, measuring cylinder, do not write MC. Measuring cylinder, write the whole word. Okay, measuring cylinder. And measure volume 1. Okay, and measure volume 1, V1, of the water. Then add the strip of staples and measure volume 2. Measure V2 of the water. Okay, of the water and staples. Okay, we have two volumes that we have two measurements to find the volume of the staples alone. Okay, the volume of the strip alone would be equal to V2 minus V1. That's it. It's quite easy. We've solved it. We've solved it يعني a lot of times before. Calculate the density of the metal. قول لي. ايوه.
بص، هو في السؤال اللي فات هو بيقول measure volume of one strip of stumble، انما هو مكتوب ان هو one strip of 40 stumble، ولا لا ايه؟
ايوه، one strip of 40 staples. To find the measurement of one strip of 40 staples فاحنا we
يعني
will
احنا
add.
مش لازم نعمل اللي هو divided 40 ولا؟
لا, he didn't say find the measurement of one staple. Okay, هو ما قالش one staple. هو he said ايه the volume of the staples. Okay, one strip of staples على بعضها. Okay, okay,
اوكي
ماشي.
ماشي.
Okay. Next question. Find the density of the metal. Density equals. Density equals.
That is good mass over volume.
Mass over volume. Yes, we have the mass, 296. We have the volume, 33.2.
33.
So the density will be, I can measure the density دلوقتي. It would be
هتبقى ثانية واحدة.
8.9.
0.9
Okay, 8.9
grams per centimeter cube.
grams per centimeter cubed. Okay, easy. ماشي. Yeah, next question. Student has a spring of length 14 centimeters. She stretches the spring. You have a question?
دكتور معلش بس ممكن تطلع فوق تاني؟
هنا. Okay. Question B. It's quite easy. What do we do? Add some water, take the measurement of the volume, add the staples, take the measurement of the new volume, then V2 minus V1 would give me the volume of the staples alone. تمام? And C is density equals mass over volume. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Next question. Okay, so I have a spring. The length of the spring is 14 centimeters. She stretches the spring by adding different loads. Okay. Use the graph to determine the length of the spring when the student adds a load of 8 newtons. Okay, someone said 20. Okay. How do I find this 20 centimeters? What do I do? 8 newtons يا شباب. What should I do with the 8 newtons? قول لي كده. What should I do with the 8 newtons?
نطلع نعمل لاين لحد ما يخبط في الجراف اللي فوق.
Okay, so a vertical line from the 8 newtons. Vertical line using the ruler يا شباب. Okay, using your ruler. Okay, and then a horizontal line which will be exactly at 20. That's quite easy. It would be exactly at 20. So this is the length of the spring, 20 centimeters. Use the graph of the use the graph to determine the load added. Okay, the load added to the spring when the extension of the spring was 7 centimeters. ها قول لي كده. When the
يعني بس
extension
هو احنا لازم نرسم اللي هو الهوريزونتال والفيرتيكال لاين.
preferably yes. You should draw the line. Okay. Okay. ماشي. What's the answer? How can I find the extension?
هنعمل 14 plus 7 هتبقى
14
21.
plus 7. Okay. So the length, initial length اللي هو 14 plus 7. 21. 21 is هنا. What should I do?
هنروح عند ال 21 في الجراف وهننزل هنلاقيه ال extension
Hmm.
9.3 اللود
Okay.
هيبقى 9.3.
Let's zoom in. تعالوا let's zoom in. 21 فين 21? It's in the center هنا. Okay. So يا شباب احنا we have to draw a line in the center of this small square. Exactly in the center of the small square until I reach this point. And then I'll draw another vertical line. And this vertical line is also in the center of this square. You have to be very accurate. You have to be extremely accurate. Okay? يلا. السنتر هنا. Okay. This was 8 and this is 9. Each small square is worth 0.2. So 9. 9.2 and then 9.3, which is correct. Okay, 9.3. You have a question?
يعني بس انا مش فاهمه احنا ليه عملنا 14 plus 7.
Plus 7. Type again. Extension of 7 centimeters. What do I mean by extension of 7 centimeters? The initial length was what? The initial length was 14. How did I find the initial length? When the load was 0. When the load was 0, خلاص, I did not extend, I did not pull the spring. The spring is not pulled. It has an initial length. It has an unextended length, an original length. Of what? Of 14. Why? Because I did not pull it. I did not apply any force on the spring. When I apply force on the spring, what happens to the spring? It starts to extend. It starts to increase the length. This increase in length, okay, he said, the extension of the spring is now 7. What do I mean by the extension? Originally, it had a length of 14. It will increase the length by 7 centimeters. It will extend the length by 7 centimeters. Therefore, you have to add 14 plus 7. So 14 plus 7 would be 21. From the graph, 21, okay? You'll draw a horizontal line from 21 and then a vertical line, and then you will reach 9.3. Okay. You have a question? Any questions on the question? Okay. Okay. خلاص? Any? Okay. So the load now will be 9.3 newtons. Okay. And the question? Okay. يلا. A load stretching a spring is an example of a force changing the size and what of an object? Size and
shape.
shape. Okay, حلو. A clamp stand uses an experiment has a weight of 8.6 newtons. Calculate the mass. How can I find the mass? يلا قول لي كده. How can I find the mass?
8.6 times 9.8.
Okay. How can I find the mass?
M equals W over G ف
Wait.
8.6 divided by 9.8.
Over G, not times. Over G. So the weight is 8.6 divided by 9.8, which would be
0.88.
0.88 kilograms. Okay. When we find, يا شباب, when we find the mass, we divide. The initial equation is weight equals mg. We can draw a simple triangle. Okay. Weight mg. So if you want the mass, weight divided by the g. You have a question?
بص لو قال اللي هو مثلا كان عايز الويت وانا عندي الماس،
Yes.
فهو انا لازم اخلي الماس ان جرامز ولا كيلو جرامز؟
لا, in kilograms. The mass has to be in kilograms.
تمام.
Mass has to be in kilograms. يلا. حلو. Okay. Yeah. Next question. This is a distance time graph for the cyclist. Calculate the speed of the cyclist in section PQ. Calculate the speed of the cyclist in section PQ.
speed equal distance over time فتبقى 250 over 10.
250 over 10. طبعا. For this question, it's quite easy to say distance over time. To be more accurate, we can find the slope. We can find the slope. In this question, the slope would be also 250 over 10. But to be more accurate, it's actually 250 minus 0 over 10 minus 0, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So it's perfectly right. Speed equals distance over time. Okay. Or speed equals the slope in this question, which is 250 minus 0 over 10 minus 0, which would give me 25 meters per second. Okay. 25 meters per second. Okay. حلو. Sorry. You have a question?
هو احنا امتى بنعمل area under the graph؟
Area under the graph is when he asks for the distance and he gave me a speed time graph. If you have a speed time graph and he tells you find the distance, then you have to write down area under the graph and calculate the area. Usually it's a triangle or a rectangle or whatever. Okay? طيب. You have a question?
مش عارف، هو انا مش فاهم اللي هو حته ان احنا نعمل ماينس اللي هو 25 ماينس 0 وكده. طب
Slope
امتى؟
y2 minus y1 over x2 minus y. This is y2.
بس
This
هي
is
ما بتنجحش معايا خالص يعني. مثلا لما ما بتجيش زيرو اللي هو اللي تحت دي، لما بتجيش زيرو ما بتنجحش معايا خالص
بص,
خالص.
if we ever encounter another question into as core students, usually the slope will be a point with and the other point would be 0. Usually as core students. Next year, inshallah, when you take the extended syllabus, it will be a bit harder because you will be required to find more difficult slopes. But usually, as core students, the other point would be 0 and 0. Most of the time, okay, we will find 250 over 10 على طول, which is
فمثلا لو ما جاش اللي هو زيرو
you would
زيرو
find
اعملها
another
ازاي؟
point. You'd find another point. For example,
ايوه.
100 and what is this? And 4. Okay. For example, this is another point, 104. So we have 2 points, y2, and this is y1, and this is x2, which is 10, and this is x1, which is 4. Okay. So now you have 2 points. You can find the slope using these 2 points. Okay. Okay. Um, hmm, uh, Sorry. You have a question? Hmm. Any questions?
مستر انا برضو ما زلتش فاهم اللي هي اللي بصيت سأل عليها اللي هي x1 minus x1 و y2 minus y اللي هي دي.
Slope, gradient. You took in math gradient. right?
بس يعني مش قادرة افهم هي بتيجي امتى، اللي هو اعملها امتى.
um, ماشي okay. Distance time graph issue. Distance time graph. Whenever I ask you about the speed in the distance time graph is the slope. For example, هنا he's asking describe the motion of the cyclist in section QR. The motion of the cyclist in section QR in this section. What is the motion of the cyclist? You tell me he is at rest. Okay, he's not moving at this. He is at rest. He's stationary. The speed is 0. He's not moving. Why is he not moving? And that's the question. Why is he not moving? Because the slope is 0. Here I can say that the slope equals 0. The gradient is equal to 0. Whenever the gradient is equal to 0, that means that his speed is 0, that he is at rest, that he is not moving. That's it. Okay. So whenever he asks me, oh, this is a distance time graph, it's a distance time graph. The slope represents what? The slope represents the speed. Have a question?
مستر هو أنا مينفعش أقول إن ال resultant force equal 0؟
Resultant force equals 0 section QR?
اه
لا. You can't say resultant force equals 0. He's asking about the motion. He did not ask you what is the resultant force. Oh, when do we say usually when do we say that the resultant force is 0? Whenever the speed is constant. Does he even have a speed in this section?
no
خلاص فالسبيد is 0 يبقى resultant force
لا.
خلاص يعني there is no resultant force is 0. It is, I know it is 0, but he's not asking about the resultant force. He's asking about what? He's asking about the speed. Describe the motion. Is he even moving? لا, he's not moving, so the speed is 0. He is at rest. Okay. Okay. ماشي. Any questions on the question? طيب. Okay. Moving on to the next question. Yeah. And the question? Okay. Yeah. Explain why people use bicycles fitted with wide tires.
large surface area, lower pressure، والويت هيبقى distributed في البادي كله.
Okay. يبقى as the area increases, the pressure decreases. Easier idea about pressure. Pressure equals force over area. Okay. He will not sink, for example, if he was talking about soft sand or whatever, then he will not sink in the soft sand, which is quite obvious. Okay. This is easy. ماشي. And the question, any questions? ماشي. Any questions? This ماشي. Describe the movement of the gas particles. يلا. What's the motion of the gas particles? قول لي.
Gas particles move fast and randomly in all directions.
Okay. Fast and random in all directions. Describe how the gas particles exert a pressure. How do they exert a pressure on the walls of the cylinder and the piston? How do they exert a pressure? Rika. Any ideas?
Yes,
Huh?
by colliding against the walls of the cylinder.
Okay. Collisions with the walls. Yes, you have to say collisions with the walls. Colliding with the walls of the cylinder. Okay. And exerting a force. ماشي. And exerting a force. Okay. حلو. The piston is now moved to the left. The volume of the gas decreases. The temperature of the gas does not change. خلاص. The temperature does not change. State and explain any change to the pressure inside. What will happen to the pressure? يلا قول what will happen to the pressure.
that hit the word harder forcing more يعني force يعني فpressure will increase.
It will not hit harder. خلي بالك it will not hit harder. قول لي كده.
يعني collide with each other more.
لا 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 استنى. not each other. قول لي كده.
البارتيكل جيم كاينيتيك انرجي
لا
فهتكولايد مع
ما هو مفيش temperature، لا من غير
wrong
kinetic energy.
wrong. ها طب استنى.
the walls more يعني frequent.
more frequently. okay. هم. قول لي كده. they will hit the walls more frequently. Yes. هم. What's your idea? Any other questions? Any other answers? Oh, they definitely they will hit the walls more frequently and the pressure will increase. فهنا we have to say what will happen to the pressure? Pressure will increase. Why will the pressure increase? Because the area of the walls decreases. Okay. Oh, the area of the walls decreases. So molecules hit the walls more frequently. Okay, more frequently or more often, increasing the pressure. Okay, increasing the pressure. Okay, pressure equals force over area. That's it. Okay. Now we cannot say, you cannot say that the kinetic energy increases or that they hit the walls faster and hard. No, they do not hit the walls faster and harder. They hit the walls more frequently. Okay. Hmm. Any questions? You have a question?
مستر هو انا امتى اقول هيت ذا وول هاردر وامتى اقول
Oh,
more frequent؟
harder, faster and harder when the temperature increases, when the kinetic energy increases. They're moving faster, they will hit the walls harder. But this question, the temperature did not increase. Temperature is constant, so they will hit the walls, but with the same force and the same speed. Therefore, the pressure will increase, but not due to them hitting the walls harder. No, it's because they will hit the walls more frequently. More frequently, not faster and harder. Okay. You still have a question? ماشي. Okay. Please, if you don't have a question, lower your hands so that I would know. Okay. Okay. You have a question?
مستر طب انا دلوقتي انا مش فاهم ليه الاريا قلت، يعني اريا هي الفوليوم ولا
الاريا ماشي. Okay. It has to do with the inner area. Okay. The inner area of the cylinder has decreased because it moved to the left. So it has to do with the inner volume. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Moving on to the next question. How can I find the work done? Quite easy. Work done equals work done equals طبعا yeah.
force over distance
over
فهتبقى لا force times distance
force times distance. Times the distance moved. Force is 12 and the
فهتبقى
distance
12 times 5 هتبقى 60.
60 joules. Okay. Shows a candle burning. Describe the energy transfers taking place as the candle burns. As the candle burns. What are the energy changes? What are the energy changes? يلا. Anyone knows? No one knows? يلا. What are the energy changes? طبعا initial
their chemical energy stores inside of the candle they release a thermal energy و energy is transferred by infrared radiation.
okay. -1. قولي لي كده.
yes لا خلاص انا كنت بقول حاجة تانية خالص.
Okay. The chemical energy inside the candle as it burns, it transfers, okay, to two types of energies. What are the two types of energies? Light, okay, light energy and thermal or heat energy. Thermal or heat energy. Okay. Hmm. And the question? طيب. You have a question?
مستر هي مش ممكن تبقى kinetic energy لأن اللي هي لما بتطيح بتبدأ تتحرك.
لا. Not kinetic energy خالص. لا 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 لا. It doesn't have to do with kinetic energy at all. Okay. ماشي. Um, You have a question?
ممكن أقول heat energy lost to the environment ولا هنا لأ؟
There is heat energy transferred to the environment. Yes, there is. But the question is, what are the energy changes? Initial energy was chemical inside, which is stored inside the candle. This chemical energy, as it burns, it is transferred, okay, it is changed to thermal energy, which is lost. Yes, I know it's lost, but I don't care about if it is lost or not. And it is transferred as light energy as well, okay, which is the useful energy in this case. Determine the amplitude of the wave. Quite easy. What's the amplitude of this wave? Hmm. Amplitude is
2 centimeters.
2 centimeters. Determine the frequency. You have a question?
لا أنا كنت بس عاوز أجاوب.
طيب. How can I find the frequency?
الفريكونسي هنشوف ال number of waves على التايم.
Number of waves over time. Okay. The number of waves is
3 يبقى 4 over 0.4. لا 2 over 0.4.
2 waves. We've only done 2 waves. One wave and then another wave, but 2 waves divided by the time, which is 4. 2 over 4, which is 0.5 hertz. Okay.
مستر هو مش المفروض التايم 0.4 مش 4؟
0.4, I'm sorry. 0.4, which will be frequency of 5, not 0.5. Okay, thank you. Next question. You have a question?
مش معلش ممكن تعيد دبل اي تاني مرة واحدة بس.
I?
دبل اي دبل اي.
Double I again. What is the frequency, شباب? How can we calculate the frequency? It's the number of waves, okay? Divided by the time taken. What is the definition of the frequency? It is the number of waves per unit time. If you cannot find, if you can't count 2 or 3 or 4 waves in a graph, what should I do? I can count only one wave. You can count only, how can you count only one wave? I can just count this wave, for example. Okay, this is one wave, and I don't know why isn't this working, but for example, okay, for example, and I will use this wave. This is one wave. What is the time taken by this one wave? You'll tell me the time taken by this one wave is 0.2 seconds.
0.2 seconds.
So 1 divided by 0.2 would give you a frequency of 5 hertz as well. Okay? It will also give you a frequency of 5 hertz. تمام؟
شكرا.
No. You have a question? طيب. Okay. Describe the motion of the particles in a transverse wave. Yeah. Motion of the particles in a transverse wave is
up and down perpendicular to the energy motion.
okay. They move up or they vibrate up and down. Okay, you can say they vibrate up and down. Up and down, perpendicular, yeah, perpendicular to the energy motion. Good. You have a question?
مش هنا المفروض يعني نقول forming crest and truss ولا مش هناخد عليه درجة ولا؟
لا لا لا, it doesn't matter. Okay. ماشي. Calculate the velocity of the wave. How can I find the velocity of the wave? You have a question? You have a question? Okay. 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 Speed equals velocity. Speed is the velocity, sure, right? So the speed is the velocity. How can I find the velocity of a wave? Speed equals wavelength times frequency. Yes. Wavelength times the frequency.
اللي فوق عليها 3 درجات مش درجتين بس.
Okay. هو 3 marks are worth up and down perpendicular to the energy motion. Up and down perpendicular to the energy motion. Speed equals wavelength times frequency. The wavelength is 0.9 times the frequency is 400, which would give me a final velocity of 360 meters per second. Okay. Okay. Cool. State 3 characteristics of the image of a book formed by a plane mirror. Plane mirrors. 3 characteristics. I need 3 characteristics of an image. Can someone state 3 characteristics? Okay, قولي لي.
Inverted?
Inverted?
Yes.
Plane mirror.
Smaller?
Plane mirror. Plane mirror. مراية. Plane mirror.
مش عارف.
Same size. When you look at the mirror, do you find yourself smaller? Or do you find yourself same size?
لا. Same size.
Same size. Yeah, whenever I look at the mirror, I find myself the same size. What about, for example, the distance? Okay.
Same distance.
Same distance. Okay. يبقى اهو smaller. Smaller ايه؟
بس
Same
بس هي
size.
ليه مش inverted؟
لا, it's not inverted. You cannot say inverted. You can say laterally inverted, which is not the main property of an image. It is one of the properties of the images in the mirror. Yes, but it's not one of the main properties of images
So
in the mirror.
what are the main
Oh,
properties?
حلو. Same size, same distance.
Okay.
Okay, and I want someone to tell me the last one. Uh, what is the last?
كتبت virtual image.
Virtual image. Thank you. What do I mean by virtual image يا شباب? It is not a real image. Not real. Not real. Not real is not the answer. You cannot write down not real. You cannot write down not real. I'm just telling you that a virtual image is a non-real image. What do I mean by a non-real image or a virtual image? It's an image which you cannot save. You cannot print out the image that you see in the mirror. You cannot save this image. You cannot, for example, take a screenshot of this image. You cannot project this image onto a screen. This is what I mean by a virtual image. A virtual image, you cannot really reproduce this image. Once you look away from the mirror, the image is gone. The image is gone. Therefore, it is a virtual image. You cannot reproduce the image. The image will instantly disappear. Okay? Any questions?
ممكن أقول upright.
Upright, okay. يعني بس again, upright it's the same as the inverted, so it's not a really it's not one of the main properties. Okay. You have a question? Any questions? Any questions?
بس طب معلش، لو انا عايز اقول 3 في اللينس اقول ريل و vertical inverted وايه؟
Lens. If you're talking about the lens, if you're talking about a convex lens or a converging lens,
ايوه
it is real, inverted, and it could be smaller, same size or larger. It depends on the question. Okay? It depends on the question. You have a question?
مصر هو ما ينفعش اقول inverted في اللي فاتت دي صح؟
لا, you can't say inverted in this one. Okay.
تمام.
Okay. You have a question? Okay. Give one use of ultraviolet radiation. One use of ultraviolet radiation, we know it. It is detecting fake banknotes. Okay, fake banknotes. Give one possible harm of ultraviolet radiation. one possible harm of ultraviolet radiation would be mutation. Okay, someone said mutation.
Skin burning.
Skin burning, لا. Skin burning is one possible effect of infrared radiation. He's asking about the ultraviolet radiation. Whenever I talk about the ultraviolet radiation, one of the possible effects is cancer, mutation, okay, skin diseases, okay, but not skin burning. Burning especially is for the infrared radiation, okay? So I can say skin cancer, skin damage to the DNA or the mutation or whatever, okay? Okay. I have a dry cloth, a plastic rod. State how the plastic rod gains a positive charge. How does it gain a positive charge? Gaining a positive charge. يلا. Do you know? Anyone knows? يلا. Really. What's the answer?
The plastic rod loses electrons to the cloth due to the friction between them, فالرod becomes positively charged.
Okay. البلاستيك اهو how the plastic rod gains a positive charge. Yes, the plastic rod loses electrons to the cloth, which gains these electrons. Okay, quite easy, صح؟ ماشي. P, Q, and R. What's Q and what is R? Q is
positive.
Q is positive and R is
Negative.
negative. Okay, easy. The student connects ball P to the earth with a copper wire. Charges from the earth flow. State the name of the electrically charged particles moving in the wire. What are the electrically? يلا, you have a question? Or you have an answer? Yeah, I cannot hear you. Yeah. طبعا the particles electrons طبعا. The particles are the electrons, definitely. Okay, quite easy. Yeah. Moving on to the next question. I have a kettle. Calculate the current in the kettle when it is switched on. When the kettle is switched on, how can I find the current? Tell me, كده.
الكرنت equal power over volt power over voltage.
Power over voltage. Okay.
وهنحول هنا الباور هنعمل 1.5 times 1000.
Okay. حلو. Initially, the equation was power equals IV. So if I want the current, I have to calculate power over voltage. But the power is in kilowatts, so you have to multiply it by 1000 because kilo, whatever, you have to multiply by 1000. So 1.5 times 1000 divided by the voltage, which is 220 volts. This would give me a current of 6.8 amperes. Okay, 6.8 amperes. Hey, what about this question? How can I calculate this one? Any ideas? How can I do this question? Okay, apparently no one knows. Do you know?
ثانية ببص كده عشان أكونفيرم قبل ما أقول أي حاجة غبية.
That's okay. Cost of energy. The 1.5 kilowatt kettle is used for a total of 4 hours. The cost of 1 kilowatt hour of electrical energy is 14 pennies. Calculate the total cost of the kettle in 4 hours.
كروس مالتيبليكيشن مثلا.
Cross multiplication. طيب واحدة واحدة. Okay. Do you have an answer?
Cost of energy equals power time cost of one كيلو hour times time، فهنعمل 1.5 times 4 times 14 تدينا 84.
Okay, so initially yes 21 times. Okay, حلو. Initially, what should I do يا شباب? Initially, I should say that the total energy, okay, the total energy is what is the power times the time. Energy equals power times time. I know that energy equals power times time. What's the power of this kettle? 1.5 kilowatts. But, Mister, do we have to convert it to watts? No. Actually, you have to leave it as kilowatts. You must leave it as kilowatts. Okay. Again, what should you do? You have to leave it as kilowatts. يبقى الباور now is 1.5 kilowatts times the time taken, hours. إيه ده? We don't have to change it to seconds. No, you don't have to change it to seconds at all. Okay. So 1.5 kilowatts times 4 hours would give me a total energy of 6 kilowatt hours. This is total what? This is total energy used, the total energy consumed during this time. 6 kilowatt hours. What about the total cost? The total cost, or the cost of 1 kilowatt hour. The cost of what? Of 1 kilowatt hour is 14 pennies. How should I calculate it? 1 kilowatt is 14 pennies. What if I have 6 kilowatt? I'll just multiply them. I'll just multiply 6 times 14. Okay, the total cost would be 6 times 14. 6 times 14 is um 84, I guess. 6 times 14 is 84 pennies. Okay, 84 pennies. Shabab, this is one of the questions that you'll most likely have a question similar to it in your exam. Okay, most likely you will have a question similar to this one. It's one of the newer topics, one of the newer ideas. So you need to make sure that you know this question. If you do not know it, please ask me so that I can answer it again. Okay, again, total energy. How can I find the total energy? Power times time. Power has to be in kilowatts. The time has to be in hours. Kilowatts and hours. I find the total energy. And then to find the total cost, what do? I just multiply the energy times the cost per energy times the cost per kilowatt, which is 14 pennies or whatever number he will give me. That's it. It's very simple. It is very simple. So please, if you do not know how to answer this question, please ask me again. Okay? Again. Again, for those who do not understand it. Yeah, sure. Energy equals what? Energy equals power times time. Kilowatt hours is a unit of energy. Kilowatt hours is what is a unit of energy. How can I use this unit of energy to measure or to calculate the total energy used? You have to multiply power times time, which is an equation I already know. You already know that the power equals energy over time, so the energy equals power times time. The power of this kettle is what? Is 1.5 kilowatts. This is the power used. You leave it as kilowatts. And the total time used is 4 hours. You will leave it as hours. So 1.5 times 4 will give you a total of 6 kilowatt hours. This is the total energy used. If I tell you that 1 kilowatt hour is worth 14 pennies, then 2 kilowatt hours are 24. 3 okay, 28. You'll keep on multiplying. It's in this question, okay, in this part, you can use cross multiplication. ازاي cross multiplication? If 1 kilowatt hour was worth 14 pennies, what is 6 kilowatt hours worth? You'll just cross multiply. Okay, 6 times 14 divided by 1 would give you a final answer of 84 pennies. Okay, moving on to the next question. Explain the danger of connecting, okay, too many plugs to an extension lead. Too many plugs connected to this extension lead. What will happen? Most probably, what will happen? Most probably it will قول لي كده.
overheating.
Overheating, yes. Why will it overheat?
إن الفولتج عالية.
لا.
الكرنت.
current. Overheating is always due to current, not the voltage. يبقى definitely one of the main hazards, okay, is overheating. Overheating due to what? Due to increased, okay, current. You cannot, يا شباب, never, ever connect all of these leads into one plug, which is wrong. Hmm. Okay. Yes. Now switch S, we have two coils P and Q. Switch S is closed. The pointer and the sensitive ammeter deflects. Can it cause an electric fire? It could cause an electric fire. Okay. Deflects.
Can you go back to the last question?
تاني. Overheating due to an increased current. Okay. Yeah. Switch S is closed. The pointer deflects. Do you know how to answer this question? Any ideas? It's quite simple. Okay. It's quite simple, but we tend to forget the answer. 3 words. I need 3 words. What are they?
current لما current flows through الكويل P
Hmm.
فهت-induce a magnetic field اللي
Okay.
هت-attract coil Q inducing a current in the other circuits يعني.
Okay. Magnetic field induced. Oh, okay. Magnetic field in coil P. Magnetic field in coil P due to the current. Due to the current. Okay. Magnetic field. That's the first keyword. What does this magnetic field do? It cuts. شباب, this is the second keyword. It's a very, very important keyword. What does it do? It cuts the coil. Okay. It cuts the coil Q. Whenever it cuts the coil Q, what happens? The magnetic field in coil P due to current. It cuts coil Q, inducing, which is the third keyword, inducing a current. Okay, inducing current in coil Q. Okay, 3 key words. Magnetic field in P cuts the coil Q, inducing a current. You have a question?
مستر، هو ليه الاميتر هيديفليكت؟ هو بيقول ان هو هيديفليكت، يعني يعني وهيرجع على طول مكانه وهيثبت، مش المفروض يفضل يعمل ديفليكت؟
لا. It will not keep on deflecting. It will deflect once and then go back. Why? Because this is a DC current. If it was an AC current, it would have kept on deflecting left and right.
طب مش المفروض يفضل عامل ديفليكت للليفت يعني ولا؟
لا, it will deflect to the left or to the right, whichever, and then it will go back. Okay.
مش، طب هو ايه اللي لما الماجنتيك فيلد بتاع بي انديوزد ليه ايه كاتس كويل كيو دي؟
There is a magnetic field now. But this magnetic
ماشي.
field, these lines cut, they intersect with coil Q. This intersection causes an induced current. Okay. You have a question?
Yeah, Mr. Sorry, overheating due to what?
Due to current. Due to the increased current. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. And the question?
Mr. أنا مش فاهم حتة اللي هي inducing a current in coil Q.
Inducing a current means generating a current. So a current will be generated. The current will be created in coil Q. Coil Q دلوقتي it now does not have a current. When will it have a current? When I generate a current, when I generate a magnetic field in coil P. How will I generate a current in coil P? By passing a current in it. So whenever you pass a current in coil P, a magnetic field will be created in coil P. This magnetic field will cut the coil Q. Whenever it cuts coil Q, it will induce. What do I mean by induce? It will generate a current in coil Q. Okay? ماشي. Overheating due to the current. Okay. Next question. Yeah. Describe the construction of a step-up transformer. quite easy. You may draw a label diagram. You don't need to draw a label diagram, but we can draw it quite easily. Step up transformer. This is a coil. Okay, this is not, sorry, this is a core. This is not just any core. You have to say that this is an iron core. And then I have a primary coil on the left, and I have a secondary coil on the right. Primary coil and secondary coil. What do I do with these coils? I have to say iron core, okay, with primary iron core with the primary coil and secondary coil. These coils can be made of copper. You can make these coils out of copper. It's not the main point in this question, but you can say it. Yeah. For example, primary coil and the secondary coil, but you must say that the secondary coil has more turns than the primary coil. You must say that. Okay, you have to say that. You have a question? The question?
مستر هو السكند كويل ده اللي عنده higher voltage صح؟
Oh, yes, عشان ده step up transformer. So if you have more turns, then it will have a higher voltage. Okay? And the question? Okay. Yeah. Moving on to the next question. Yes. Determine the number of protons. Quite easy. The number of protons. يلا. 95. صح. Neutrons. How can I find the number?
Okay, we're gonna do 241 minus 95.
Mm-hmm.
But can we also go up because I didn't get to finish? معلش.
Iron core, primary coil, secondary coil. Primary coil has less turns than the secondary coil, or the secondary coil has more turns than the primary coil. Okay? يلا. Yeah. 241 minus 95, which is 146 neutrons. Yeah. It has a half-life of 430 years. The radioactive source contains 12 milligrams. 430 years, 12 milligrams. Calculate the mass after 860 years. Yeah, this is easy. Calculate the mass that remains after 860 years. What should I do? Initially, I have to divide the time by the number of half-lives. Divide by 430. This will give me 2 half-lives. What do I mean by 2 half-lives? Divide by 2. How many times? 2 times. Divide by 2, 2 times. What will I divide by 2? The initial number, the initial mass. 12 divided by 2 is 6. 6 divided by 2 is 3 milligrams. That's it. Okay, divide by 2 times. Time divided by the half-life is 2 half-lives. Okay, quite easy. Any questions? Any questions? No. Space physics. يلا, what's your question?
ممكن تعملها repeat يا مستر؟
Repeat.
اه
تاني, again. You have the half-life, which is 430 years. And you have the half-life, which is 430 years. I will leave this radioactive source for 860 years. You leave it for 860 years. So you need to find how many half-lives will occur in this 860 years. So 800 divided by 430, okay, is 2. When you divide 860 divided by 430, it will give you 2. What is 2? 2 half-lives. What do I mean by 2 half-lives? It means that it will divide the initial mass, the initial count rate, the initial radiation will be divided by 2, will be halved. How many times? 2 times. I will divide it by 2 times. 12 divided by 2, 6. 6 divided by 2 again is 3. That's it. So the final result after 860 years is what is 3 milligrams. What if he asked me, for example, what's the count rate or what's the mass after 430 years alone? Uh, After 430 years, it would be 6. Why? Because you only have one half-life in 430 years. Okay. Yeah. Quite easy. What are some planets? The closest to the sun. What is the planet closest to the sun? We know it. It is Mercury, and then Venus, and then Earth. Need the three closest planets to the sun. What's your question?
لا مش question، عاوز اجاوب التاني.
Okay, tell. قول لي.
اللايت year اللي هي ال distance traveled by light 1 year.
Yes. Distance traveled by the light in 1 year. حلو سهل. برافو. Jupiter is 780 million meters away from the sun. The speed of light is 300 million meters per second. Calculate the time. It's very easy. I just have huge numbers. But again, it's very easy. Speed equals distance over time. We know the triangle. Speed equals distance over time. To find the time, what do? Time equals distance over speed. When using your calculator, شباب, whenever you're using your calculator, use the fraction sign. Okay? Do not calculate on your, for example, distance, which is 7.8 times 10 to the power of 11. Do not use the divide sign. Do not do that. Okay? Most probably you will use it wrong. So do not use it. What do? Use the fraction sign. 7.8 times 10 to the power of 11 divided by 3 times 10 to the power of 8 using your fraction, using your calculator. It would be very easy. It would give me a total time of, I guess, 2,600 seconds. Okay? 2,600 seconds. Quite easy. ماشي.